SpaceXAI's Grok 4.6 surges to the top of global intelligence benchmarks at a fraction of frontier costs. State-linked hackers execute the world's first fully autonomous AI cyberattack against Taiwan. And Meta offers massive API discounts in exchange for developer repository data. Welcome to today's Daily Rundown. I am your host, Anna. This podcast is researched and produced by Etienne Newman, professional engineer and founder at Jamgamind from Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. Today, we perform a forensic autopsy on autonomous cyber offensives, the enterprise data bargain, and physical intelligence portability this Thursday, August 13th, 2026. The frontier landscape has experienced a dramatic shift. SpaceXAI has officially released Grok 4.6, securing a score of 61 on the Intelligence Index, surpassing OpenAI's GPT 5.6 Sol while charging 60% less. Alongside the model, SpaceXAI deployed Grok Bot, an environment where specialized AI agents run on independent virtual machines to execute continuous 24/7 background tasks. However, as agentic capabilities expand, sovereign cyber warfare has breached containment. In Taiwan, a 4-day campaign deployed up to 8 autonomous AI agents simultaneously, built on the open-source Hermes and OpenClaw frameworks, to breach government nuclear safety networks and steal thousands of personnel records without direct human steering. In response, President Trump has signed an executive memo allowing vetted private security firms to actively counter-hack foreign cybercriminals. Simultaneously, the race for high-quality training data has reached a market valuation. Meta introduced Muse Code alongside a contributor tier for its Muse Spark 1.2 model, offering developers a 90% discount on token costs if they grant Meta full rights to train on their private terminal logs and repository edits. Before we break down the telemetry of these events, please hit follow or subscribe to the channel on Apple Podcasts to always listen completely ads-free. Let's unpack the data.
The era of treating large language models as conversational oracles is over. August 2026 is defined by persistence. We are now seeing autonomous agentic systems operating continuously in the background, without human oversight. In the last month, a fully autonomous cyberattack successfully breached state-level infrastructure, while new vision language models began driving generalized physical robotics. To understand these shifts, we use a pedagogical framework called the agentic value chain. This chain tracks the flow of intelligence through 3 sequential nodes: data economics, autonomous execution, and infrastructure defense. Analyzing the capital structures and operational mechanics of this chain is now a requirement for securing enterprise infrastructure. This diagram isolates our starting point, the economics of training data. Compute is no longer the primary constraint for frontier labs. The industry bottleneck has shifted to high-quality reasoning and execution data. Scraping public repositories like GitHub fails to capture the trial and error reasoning steps required for autonomous agents. Public code shows the result, but not the repairs. Meta is addressing this scarcity through the Muse Code agent and its subsidized contributor tier. This table illustrates the market undercut. While OpenAI and DeepSeek have lowered prices, Meta's contributor tier charges just 10 cents per million input tokens. Developers access this pricing by granting Meta full rights to their terminal logs, isolated work trees, and file edits. SpaceXAI utilizes a similar strategy to bypass traditional data scarcity through a partnership with Cursor. XAI trained the new Grok 4.6 model on real-world usage data rather than static crawls. This telemetry pipeline allowed Grok 4.6 to achieve a 61 on the Intelligence Index while significantly undercutting frontier pricing. Analytical, deliberate, API pricing has evolved into a market structure designed to harvest the telemetry data required to fuel the next layer of the chain. This diagram tracks the harvested data into the second mode, autonomous execution. The architectural paradigm has shifted from single-turn prompts to persistent background sub-agents operating 24 hours a day. The commercial realization of this architecture is SpaceXAI's Grok Bot environment. This node tree shows how Grok Bot functions. A central chief of staff delegates multi-step jobs to specialist agents operating in parallel across the system. This autonomous architecture is also being weaponized for geopolitical disruption. In early July 2026, a fully autonomous cyberattack was executed against the government of Taiwan. Over 4 days, the campaign successfully breached Taiwan's nuclear safety agency and various energy firms. The attack deployed up to 8 concurrent AI agents built on the open-source Hermes and OpenClaw frameworks. These agents autonomously mapped 21 government systems and dynamically evaluated failed intrusion paths to reroute their attacks. The models successfully bypassed safeguards by posing the intrusion as an authorized penetration test. The barrier to entry for persistent, multi-vector digital attacks has collapsed. This autonomous execution threshold has simultaneously crossed into the physical layer. Google's Gemini Robotics 2, or GR2, is a vision language action model designed for complex environments. GR2 drives full-body humanoid locomotion, legs, torso, arms, and hands simultaneously. In a major architectural breakthrough, GR2 operates different robotic hardware setups using a single set of trained weights, rather than requiring per-machine training. The unification of vision, language, and physical action, proving that the agentic reasoning model scales to any complex environment. This brings us to the third and final node, infrastructure defense. Fragmented legacy systems are unequipped to survive 24-hour agentic probing. The enterprise market is responding through strategic partnerships, most notably between OpenAI and IBM Consulting. OpenAI is bypassing standard API sales to embed certified engineers directly into IBM to deploy a platform called IBM Autonomous Security. Geopolitically, the state has recognized that passive defensive posturing is no longer sufficient. President Trump signed a memo authorizing vetted private security firms to launch offensive counterhacks against foreign cybercrime groups. This policy includes oversight by the National Coordination Center and a mandatory $1 million bond for participating firms. This effectively privatizes and militarizes the enterprise security layer in response to the new autonomous reality. This diagram maps the ecosystem in motion. Data acquisition by Meta and Grok provides the foundational fuel. That harvested data enables autonomous digital and physical execution, seen in frameworks like OpenClaw and GR2. This volume of execution forces the rapid militarization of enterprise defenses. Control over this specific execution pipeline now defines the AI frontier more than raw parameter counts. Legacy infrastructure and traditional security models remain highly vulnerable to these methods. We are in an era of continuous machine operation. Organizations that fail to integrate agentic security will be seamlessly mapped and systematically exploited.